I'm Josh Halpern, former U.S. diplomat, helping entrepreneurs sell to the billions of consumers overseas. We're living in a time of unprecedented opportunity for small businesses that know how to optimize their e-commerce channels. Find out how some fail, some succeed, and how you can leapfrog the competition. This is vanbassador. So we're on the road getting an update from Jenna, founder of StellarMotoBrand. Jenna is one of these unique mixes of super cool, authentic, and down to earth. A few minutes with her and you settle into a calming flow as if she's channeling the same peace of mind that she experiences when she's out on the road for a few hours on the mountain roads outside of Los Angeles. Now here's what I want you to take away from this video. Small is the new global. Jenna's operations could not get any smaller, yet she has untethered her strategy from her geography. What do I mean by that? She's learned how to leverage her local tribe to take educated guesses as to her potential overseas market. With some hacks, no tech, and super limited budget, she can optimize her website to sell to her tribe, whether they're in LA, New York, or Australia. So yes, this is an inspirational piece, which we could all use these days. Before COVID, we visited her at her office, which doubles also as her home in West Hollywood. We learned about her origin story, which drives her to make the stylish, women-first protective clothing that she does today. We then headed to her factory in downtown LA where she makes her magic in small batches, and we grabbed a cafe in downtown in one of her hangouts called the House of Machines. We touched on her website and her digital marketing. Of course, any time spent with Jenna is not complete without getting on a bike, so she let me infiltrate her gang and take a ride. I felt cool for about a third of a day. Then we checked back with her via video conference recently to see how things are going, how it's all progressing, and any advice that she has for us out here on the road. So let's see what she has to say. Who are you? And tell us a little bit about StellarMotoBrand.
StellarMotoBrand kind of came out of quite a few things, not only because women in the motorcycle world did not have any protective gear. Then the protective gear that did come out was really quite unappealing. It's a combination of looking as grand as you can on a motorcycle and being as protective as you can, using the highest technical properties out there.
Where the genesis of StellarMotoBrand started, which can go all the way back to my understanding, perhaps your childhood.
I grew up around motorcycles. My father was a sidecar racer and a fabricator of sidecars, so he would make and design sidecars for people. And I grew up around watching races, watching crashes, watching how the leather protected them. And my father, unfortunately, passed away on a motorcycle, lack of protection. And I just fueled me to always want to do better in this field of motorcycling. And there was nothing for everyday riders. There was all the protection for everything you needed on the racetrack, but nothing was really concentrating on just the everyday motorcyclist. After my father passed away, there was just something inside me that just said, God, we just need to start protecting ourselves a little bit more. And I actually went to fashion design school with that in mind, but put it on hold because I fell in love with the entertainment industry. And I loved rock bands, and I wanted to kind of fuse style and get that kind of under my belt. And Stellar was always in the back of my brain. It was always something I wanted to do. The only reason why I didn't do it right away was because there wasn't that many women motorcyclists.
Tell us, who are some of the people you costume designed for?
I worked with Green Day, White Stripes, Raconteurs, Dead Weather, anything that Jack White did. Early days, Backstreet Boys, Christina Aguilera, but the rock and roll is where I really tend to thrive.
If I remember correctly, you told me a story. You walked outside to get on a motorcycle, turned around, saw your mother's face, and made a decision at that point. Can you talk about that?
Actually, the story is I got my motorcycle license. I think I was about 18, and I brought the license. It was on my bed. My mother came in and saw it, and she just turned around, walked away, didn't say anything. But oh my God, I did not take her in consideration when I got my license, especially after my father just passed away on a motorcycle. Um, I just didn't take her in consideration, as most teenagers wouldn't.
But you did ultimately, because you didn't jump right in. Something stopped you.
Well, I mean, it stopped me because I did have a ton of concern for my mom's feelings after my father just passed away 4 years earlier. And I just decided, well, maybe now's not a good time. I don't need to rush into this. So I started getting into vintage cars
But
and
so
and riding on the back of motorcycles.
that's right. Okay. So you're riding on the back of motorcycles. Now, at some point, you decided I'm going to get in front of that motorcycle. What exactly was that story?
Well, just after being on the back of motorcycles for years, it was just ridiculous already. I wanted to have control. I wanted to go when I wanted to go. There was absolutely no control, and why should they all have the fun? I
Who's
really
they?
wanted to have the fun. Oh, I should say my ex-boyfriends. Just
Why
so
did
happened that all my ex-boyfriends rode. It wasn't a prerequisite. It just so happens to, be. And I took my license 2 more times before I actually bought a motorcycle.
And then you started riding on your own, and you did get in an accident?
I did. So early on, which happens to a lot of people, I got into a small minor accident, and I was wearing a leather jacket that I had made, previous years, but I wasn't protecting my lower body. So my whole knee ripped up, and I was on crutches. I had to go through physical therapy, all because I wasn't wearing any proper gear down below. I was just wearing a pair of stretch denim jeans, and at that point, I decided it's time. We shouldn't have to go through this. This is time. So, especially since I had time, since I was recuperating, I finally had the time, and this is the time I researched and did what I can to actually start Stellar.
Okay, let's talk about where you started selling in the U.S.
Well, I started online, and I would go to every single motorcycle show that I possibly can in my hometown, or thereabouts. I would say, in California, there's a lot of motorcycle shows, and I would do pop-up shops. And it was pretty taxing. Let's say there was about 2 a month that I would go to. And then I branched out and started going to motorcycle shows in other states.
What happened when you got your first international order?
I just feel like, how did they hear about me? What happened? I think just by being at the motorcycle shows, and a lot of people from all over the world would go to them. They were the ones building the motorcycles. Then they would come over and showcase them. So I had people from all over the world coming out, and so if they took a sticker back home with them and ordered online, that's a huge deal for me.
What are the top 3 markets that you'd like to expand into first overseas?
I feel Stellar is important in the places that have a lot of motorcycling going on, and that's obviously Europe, but Canada, Japan, and Australia are huge motorcyclists. On my website, I have the currency converter, so you could go in and tap in whatever your currency is, and that helps. I need to take it a notch up and figure out what's the best way for shipping. More shipping options is my next move.
The shipping part, obviously, your decision to offer free shipping internationally is a big hit on the margins. Tell us more about that process of deciding that's where we're going to go.
I just felt like if I can offer them a little ease in that process, I just felt like I think they would take a chance and try out the brand. And I felt like instead of just trying to do markdowns, I would offer that up. And it seems to be working.
Let's talk a little bit again about your marketing and social. Where are you online?
I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, and Pinterest. So I would do some separate and target the American cities that I thought would be interested in my gear, and then also started targeting just overseas, basically Canada, Japan, and Australia. And it's amazing that you could do these sponsored promotions on Instagram and Facebook. It's been amazing. It's been helpful.
Advice to business owners who want to expand globally, what do you have for them?
Well, since I feel like I'm still trying to expand globally, I feel like it, without Instagram and Facebook, wow, I wouldn't even know what to do, because they've helped me out so much, not only, to target in, but to follow other motorcyclists and, people from all over the world that have commonality, which is motorcycling. I just follow them and see what they're up to. And well, I think that's important to kind of know your market, research, see what they're up to. It's super fun to see what everybody's up to, and to see the melting pot of it all, how we all kind of take a little bit from each other.
I think that's wonderful. I mean, the message to me is small is the new big. The more niche, the more specific you can be, the more it will resonate. When you're doing that analysis of, is there a market big enough for me and my product or my idea? Traditionally, you'd say, well, I'm living in San Francisco, Kansas, Indiana, New York. I have to analyze how many people actually are riding motorcycles. But now, because you're global, you're looking at a very small niche, but across an entire globe.
And now that it's went from women's to now women's and men's now, and then it was just local, because really it was California, then Portland, Seattle, the West Coast, then all of a sudden now I'm like, across to the East Coast. So now, tapping into globally just, broadens everything.
What type of support do you get from the government?
Simona from the California International Trade Center helped me get a STEP grant, which I could use internationally. And I'm using it for a lot of the Facebook and Instagram ads right now. It's completely helpful.
Virtual internship program, did you do any of that?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. Which actually helped me with this internship program, which helped me put together a Facebook ad. So they kind of taught me, and they did the research ahead of time to focus on where they wanted the ads to go, and then they gave me the information on how it went afterwards. They gave me all the analysis breakdown, and that it's amazing what these Facebook and Instagram ads can do. I applied for the SBA loan, which actually Simona helped me hone in and just help me with paperwork, and it was priceless, because all that stuff is a little overwhelming for me. And I actually got the small business loan, which actually helped me pay to keep the doors open for my manufacturers. So all the manufacturing that was cut that I was worried about actually helped me pay for the last leg of sewing and getting everything ready. And they delivered about a month ago. It was amazing. I couldn't have done it without the loan, that's for sure.
I want to ride a motorcycle wearing this.
As you should.
Let's get a bunch of these inserts and maybe extra ones.
Yeah.
And let's go ride a motorcycle.
We'll hear ya.
Okay,
Yeah,
let's do it.
What a ride, and what did we learn? You can actually say yes to global even as a small company. Manufacturing locally enables you to respond quickly to consumer feedback and allows you to charge a premium on your products. Shipping is a function of volume. There's no way around it. But consider taking a hit to build your consumer base and increase your volumes. You can optimize your website with a checkout plugin, currency conversions, and a welcome mat with zero tech and hardly any budget at all. No offense, Jenna. Now, there's also government programs out there that you can leverage from grants and financing, though you may be required to connect with your local organizations. We'll put some links and descriptions here so that you can get started. But most of all, as a digital perspective, find your tribe locally first, then find them online and around the globe. They're out there, and your Instagram feed can give you a peek in the rearview mirror to see who's already following you, who's already part of your gang. Remember, the smaller your posse starts out as, the more you know about them, and the easier it is to identify potential new members of that gang across the globe. To learn more from other founders who are staying local, going global, follow us here, subscribe. Now, let's ride. Click on the video, subscribe, follow us so that you can stay local, go global. This is vanbassador.